Philadelphia. The name of the church means brotherly love, and it was founded by King Pergamum. The main disadvantage of living in Philadelphia were the earthquakes, which frequently damaged the city. Jesus describes himself as the one with the key of David. The key of David refers to David's role of working in the gate of the temple court in the kingdom. The book of Ezekiel says that in the kingdom, David will preside over the court of the temple, and he has the key to the temple. As with everything else we've seen in the letters, Jesus shows himself to be in complete control of where the gospel is going and where it will be received. He determines the time and the place where the message of the gospel will be received. And the enemy cannot stop it from happening. But conversely, Jesus also closes doors at times. This means there will be moments, circumstances, individuals, even seasons when our efforts don't produce. We then acknowledge his sovereignty, so we dust off our sandals and move on. The church in this city becomes the model church when it comes to evangelism. They worked in ways that Sardis did not, serving the people and always sharing the news of Jesus. This wasn't a church trying to work in their own power. They abided in him, operating with humility. They are only one of two churches that receive no condemnation. Along with Smyrna, Philadelphia was a church that pleased Jesus. Interestingly, these two churches also shared another thing in common. They both were persecuted. That's why Jesus says, "Rejoice when you're persecuted, because your reward in heaven is great." As a result of their faithfulness, the Lord promises to preserve the church in this city from an hour of testing. Notice Jesus speaks of this hour impacting all who dwell on the earth in verse 10. That is one of the clearest references we have in all the letters to alert us to the prophetic nature of each one. Because there was no worldwide testing of all humanity in the day of Philadelphia, we must assume this is speaking of things in the future. That comment was an important clue to show us that these letters contained a hidden prophetic interpretation. The Bible does describe a coming worldwide testing of all humanity, and we will study that period after we finish the letters. In the decades after the peace, the church experienced a remarkable rebirth, a worldwide missionary movement. What Catholics did in persecuting reformers, now the reformers began doing these newly formed Christian groups in the same manner. Obviously, Jesus opened a door for these evangelists. Though they were weak, not being the established state church, nevertheless, they succeeded stupendously. For a time, Philadelphia reestablished the true outward witnessing church Jesus intended for the world. It had a great impact by holding to what was holy and true. As a blessing, the Lord says, He will spare it from the hour of testing coming to the entire world. In prophetic terms, this means it would not be the final church of the age. There must be one more church to end the age.